So when you guys hear the term AI, you guys are probably thinking the doom of human civilization. We're all going to become Plankton's, Chum Bucket's minions in the SpongeBob movie, going like, all hail Plankton, but we're going to be going like, all hail Chat GPT, something like that, right? We're going to get absolutely destroyed by the AI robots. Human civilization is going to be nowhere, and the AI, everything's going to be AI. You guys are probably thinking about that, and then perhaps there might be another faction where they're going to be quite optimistic about it. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, AI is going to help me with my business, or AI is going to help me with my school, AI is going to help me with my relationships. They're going to be using Chat GPT to rizz up their partners in Tinder or something. I don't really know. You guys are probably having these various use cases, right? But have you guys ever wondered about AI being used in Osu? And you guys are probably thinking, okay, AI in Osu, what are you talking about? You're telling me that people are going to be clicking the circles? I mean, we've seen AI be used in Osu, especially with Neurosama, the Vidal Osu AI bot, which is essentially this Twitch VTuber that is essentially AI playing Osu. So the AI is playing Osu, like they're playing like absolute dog shit at first, but then they're absolutely playing like Centipede on DT later on because they're just like getting so cracked at the game. And Neurosama will be out here saying the most unhinged things, looking at chat, and people will be saying some crazy shit, and she'll be reading it, and like I don't really know, like it's some crazy stuff, this AI stuff. And we haven't really seen a lot of AI overcomings and a lot of AI takeovers ever since then. But recently I want to talk about this Reddit post that I saw on Reddit on the Osu Game subreddit, where I found this post where he was talking about, guys, the current state of AI mapping. And I just want to read it to you guys and give you guys the update of the current state of AI mapping right now and just give my thoughts about it. So what he says here in this post is that I trained an AI model and fed it around 60k beat maps as training data. The model takes an audio file of the song and the desired difficulty as inputs, and from that it generates a relatively playable and complete beat map. The map in the video is raw output and the best out of 3 tries. Inputs, song, and he just has a YouTube link, and difficulty 6 stars. So the inputs in this AI, like I just want to pause this post really quick to like explain to people who do not know how the AI would work. So I had a bit of experience with AI. I used to play around with the AI image generation tools, generating some art with AI, and I know that the AI art is a very hot topic, but I'll talk about that some more later on in the video. So I have a bit of understanding about this whole topic here, but essentially what AI does is that it looks at a data set, right? So in this example here, he has 60,000 maps, and the AI or the code is going to look at that and be like, okay, well, we have all this data here, and mappers like to map this type of way, and they're going to notice patterns and trends within that data set, right? And then the user, you're going to put in inputs so that you could get a certain result out of this whole AI. So the input here is that, hey, I'm going to give you the song, and I'm also going to give you the difficulty rating, which is about 6 stars. So the AI or the code is going to look at the inputs, the star rating in the song, and compare it to the data set and be like, okay, well, this guy wants the song to be like this. He wants this song, and he also wants the star rating to be around 6. So let me just combine those things around a bit and see what I can compare it to within my data set here. And within that data set, they're going to make basically a guess. Like, they're not really making something completely original. Like, everything that AI creates is essentially a regurgitated form of their data sets is already there. So AI can't really make anything completely original, creative like humans can do. All they can do is regurgitate what the data set they've been given to, but they're just going to have a bunch of combinations in the data set, and it creates something as a resultant of that. So the inputs are that, okay, I want this song and I want this star rating. So the new thing is that song, the star rating is pretty new, but not really, because there's already that star rating range. And the code's gonna look at that and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna make a guess then, and then they're gonna shit out something random, completely random in terms of probability based off the input that was given here, which is the song into star rating. So the AI is gonna generate something pretty much random every time, and every time you generate something, it's just going to be completely random, even though you're gonna have the same inputs and the same parameters. So that's just how this whole thing is working, just from a whole high level standpoint. But let me just go on to the rest of the post here. So he's saying limitations: the model is not consistent throughout the song and generates new patterns for similar or repeated parts of the song. So that thing seems to be that this model is not very consistent for having the old data sets and comparing it and be like, okay, well, it's similar to this pattern here, so let me try to do on the new map here, but it doesn't really do that and generates something completely new, which is basically a bug. It's not really supposed to do that. And then the second thing he says is hit objects are offbeat by by 2 to 10 milliseconds, requiring post-processing to resnap hit objects to the beat. This can be done automatically with some code using map tools or mainly the beatmap editor. So it seems like it's a bit inconsistent in terms of the timing, which it makes sense. Like, I feel like that's pretty rudimentary so far. And the third thing he says is it works best for some music genres and struggles with others. So I think for music genres, for AI, I think music genres where it would work well are like J-pop or anime songs, right? Because these are very simple rhythms. It's going to be in 4/4 time signature. But if you're going to try to compare it to some crazy jazz shit, like if you're going to try to map fucking IIL Sputnik or something, or you're trying to create an AI generated map of the King Crimson song or something, or it's just some crazy experimental jazz song with the weirdest time signatures and the weirdest rhythms, the AI is going to look at that and be like, okay, what the fuck? No, yeah, I'm all good. Like, they're going to have some pretty hard times. So my prediction here is that I think that they're probably having a very good time in terms of generating beat maps within the genre of pop, because it's very simple. Pop, they have very simple chords and rhythms and time signature. It's pretty easy to do that. But for other maps like jazz, it's just hard as fuck. And the next thing is here, completely random without any control over anything except the difficulty. So this randomness here, the inputs are the song and the difficulty, right? The difficulty is like pretty much the only limitation. So you can't really say, okay, well, I want this map to be a stream map, or I want this map to be a jump map. This model here is just saying, okay, I just want this star rating here. And the AI is gonna be like, okay, well, I don't really care what I'm gonna map then. I'm just gonna put circles on the screen and sliders on the screen, and it's not going to try to make a certain type of map like a stream map or a jump map. You can't specify that, which is going to be a lot more difficult to do, because that's quite challenging to do, because you're going to have to look at, okay, well, stream maps tend to be around rock songs, or they tend to be around electronic songs, and then jump maps tend to be like anime songs. Like the AI, how are you supposed to do that? Just a random yap here. But this whole AI stuff, I actually talked about this with one of my friends in college, where he actually is like a neuroscience, math, computer science nerd, and like he was really big into OSU mapping, and he was like, dude, what if you could AI generate the beat maps? And I was like, how the fuck would you do that? And he was like trying to do some chaos theory learning or something, and I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, yo, what if you like looked into like the harmonics of the waveforms within the audio graphs, and then tried to make some predictions off that, do some 4th level matrices? And I'm like, bro, I don't know, you're kind of losing me. But I don't really know. That's kind of some crazy ass shit. But in theory, if you wanted to have specified map version, so like this song is a stream map and the AI recognizes that, you might have to do something like that, because you're going to have an input related to the song itself, not really the map for the AI. So the AI is going to somehow have to like listen to the song, and what is a song composed of? It's composed of waveforms in the audio. So they're going to look at the waveforms in the audio and be like, okay, well, this waveform is of this frequency and this waveform is of this phase. Okay, well, I notice a trend here. Jazz maps tend to have these type of waveforms, and rock maps tend to have these type of waveforms. Let's try to correlate that within the maps and the stream maps. Maybe it's gonna be like, I don't really know. That's just in theory, and in execution, that's a lot fucking harder than this, like, in theory, trying to put that down and code it down. Like, it's really fucking hard to do. But the next things he say here is, despite the limitations, the model is fairly decent for generating and playing maps on the fly. It takes a couple of minutes on a good GPU to generate a 3-minute bitmap, and this model was trained using Ali Bombi's code on GitHub, and I fucked that up. And technically, in this demo, I'm using 2 different models, OSU Diffusion and OCTS. I'm pretty sure Oli Bombi is currently looking at a new mapping tool based on this, and it'll probably be better and more polished. So this whole AI mapping thing, I was kind of looking at the mapping, and some people are saying this is kind of low-key rankable, or some people are saying, okay, well, it's not that bad for AI, because when you think of AI mapping, you're thinking, okay, well, it's probably gonna be really shit. But then you look at the video of like this guy actually playing the AI generated map, and it actually kind of looks like a ranked map. It looks pretty playable, but just from another standpoint, it's also pretty random and a bit distorted at times, which is what AI tends to do. So it's not very advanced right now. It's kind of rudimentary, and if you look at the map, you'll be like, okay, well, it's not really rankable. But I just want to talk a bit more about the future of this AI stuff. So as we can see now, the current state of AI mapping is pretty rudimentary. They're still working on it. It's pretty cool, right? But what is this going to happen for the mapping community into the future? Because think about it, AI art, for example. So in the artist community on Twitter, AI art is essentially where you're going to get stable diffusion and get a bunch of models and LoRa's, and you're going to be cooking up some prompts, and you're going to get an output of some AI art. You just type a few words, click a button, and boom, you have this AI art that looks fucking beautiful. Like, it looks like someone spent like a day, like a week drawing that up, cooking it up in the lab in Clip Studio. And in comparison, the artists, they're gonna look at that AI art and be like, oh my god, this thing looks pretty legit, but like I have to spend like years to even draw something that is half as good as that. So they're pretty upset about that. But this is kind of weird thing as well, because AI art also has its own flair to it. So if you've seen AI art and compared it to actual art, it's pretty obvious to see. Like, for example, AI anime art is very 3D-esque, refined AI-esque. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but if you just compare the side by side of AI art and then like of original art, AI anime art is a lot more detailed and a bit more realistic while still being cartoonish. It's a bit eerie, but then you compare it to like original cartoon art, like you're like, oh yeah, that one's definitely made by a person. But you compare it to the AI art, you're like, okay, well, it's a little strange, but it still looks good. So it's not really exactly original art, but AI art is kind of just doing its own thing here. And the art community is like, okay, well, this sucks because our jobs are kind of getting destroyed. We make livings off creating arts and commissions, but now these normal people who didn't even spend years drawing up, cooking up in the lab, practicing the techniques, practicing the poses, like these guys can just type a few words, click a few buttons, and boom, they've got something beautiful. And we, on comparison, we're just kind of left out, and those guys are going to just gonna get absolutely destroyed into dust. And what kind of sucks about AI art in particular, like in the Twitter community, is that AI tools like ChatGPT or in AI mapping, for like, I'm going to go on some more about the AI mapping. ChatGPT, you can use that to actually assist you. Like, it's not something that can replace a lot of your things. So for example, if you're trying to study up for school, you can be like using ChatGPT to study. It's going to give you the information. You'll be like, okay, well, I'll fact check it, but usually it's right. And you'll be like, okay, well, that's nice. Or maybe you're going to be using ChatGPT to help write your essays, or maybe if you're a copywriter or try to write some copy, and then you use ChatGPT to create a baseline, and then you edit that baseline, and it really helps you out with your work. It's just very efficient for your work. ChatGPT is very good for that. But in comparison, AI art, you can't really make the AI art and then edit it later. Like, once the AI art is created, you just post it. Like, there's nothing really else you can do about it. And if artists, for example, maybe if they could have like a baseline created with AI art and then work on it, no, that's not really possible with AI art. If art that you create yourself, the whole process from zero to hero is all on you. You can't really use AI to assist you with that. So they're kind of just being left out in that. And I just wanted to give that whole scenario about AI art in particular, why it's kind of unfair for the artists here. And I'm not really going to comment and give my own stances on that particular field, because I don't really have much of a strong opinion. I do feel that the AI artists are creating a bunch of art at mass compared to the original artists, and it would replace some of the people's jobs, the original artists. But again, that is also the survival of the fittest, because the new technology that's adapted, that's more efficient in creating this art, those guys are going to win just in terms of sheer numbers and productivity, right? So it's kind of sad, but I can't really comment about that because I can't really change much about it, and I think it's a little unfair. But besides that point right there, going on about AI mapping in OSU. So in OSU, as we all know, the current mapping scene in OSU is absolute dog shit, right? We're gonna have a bunch of mappers trying to get off the beat map nominator team, and we're gonna have a bunch of mappers trying to say, no, this map's unrankable, or we're gonna have things like Valley of the Quandale mappers be like, yo, this is shit, disqualified. Like, it's some crazy shit right now. Like, I can't even comment on the whole mapping scene because it's an absolute mess right now. But I don't really want to go on about that anymore. But what if AI mapping gets to a point where it gets so fucking good, and this model that this guy presented here gets to a point where the maps that AI creates, maybe they actually figure it out how to make stream maps in comparison to the actual song. Maybe they actually figured that out, and AI maps make maps that are very rankable and are actually very good. What if that becomes a dystopian reality? Well, in that case, I don't really know. It's a very complicated issue, right? Because you're going to have these AI generated maps that are very good. Like, you just click a few buttons and you just make a whole ass map that can be rankable for some PP. And it takes like 2 minutes. But the mapper themselves, when they have to make the map, they take a couple hours to make it. They got to cook it up in the lab and make everything perfect. But these AI generated maps, it just boom, is done. So it kind of weird though, right? But in comparison to the AI art standpoint, the mappers, they aren't really being paid to do do this, right? A lot of the work is just community driven, but perhaps there's some mappers out here that actually take the art of mapping as an art where they're like, okay, well, this slider curvature, I'm going to be very specific about it, and this is my art. Like, you're going to have some OCD level mapping like Monstrata, where Monstrata is really creating up mathematical formulas to create his maps and shit. Like, maybe there's some mappers like this and they don't really care to be paid, they're just doing it for their art. And then now they see these AI mappers come out and these guys can just create beautiful maps within like 2 minutes while they're taking this painstakingly, okay, I'm going to create this mathematical formula, make this specific curvature, this angle. Like, these guys are taking hours to do it while these other mappers are doing it in 2 minutes. They're going to think that's unfair, but again, it's kind of not really affecting you at the end of the day. But perhaps if you want that to be ranked and to be respected a lot of other people, these AI generated maps are going to spam the whole mapping field and they can't really take over. Like, they're just going to get completely drowned out by the noise of AI maps. So those mappers themselves that aren't going to be using the AI tools are going to get completely wiped out. But this whole scenario here is, again, survival of the fittest, because the people who take on the new tools and adapt to them are going to use them efficiently. So perhaps there's going to be some new mappers that use the AI generated maps, but compared to the copywriting people, you can just make a baseline map with the AI generated maps, right? You have all the circles on the screen, but you could go in as you and make your own creative edits here and there, and then essentially it'll be your work, even though it was AI generated. So I think that will be the future of mapping if AI generated mapping comes in. But the people that do not use AI generated mapping, they're just going to get wiped out because they can't create as much productivity compared to the AI generated mappers. So that's the whole scenario that I believe is going to happen into the future. But should these AI generated maps be ranked? Well, I don't really know. That was the question that I was thinking about earlier, where I was like, I don't know, because it's very, very complicated. Since maps getting ranked nowadays in OC, it's already super complicated and super cringe. Like, you have to have all these crazy requirements to get ranked. Like, now if you add in the new order that, okay, well, this map's AI generated, like, it's just going to become a complete mess. So what I feel like should happen with AI generated maps, like, they should be tagged within their own field, like AI generated, and whether it should be ranked or not, I don't know. It's up to the OSU team, because maybe these maps are going to be actually as good as the OSU maps. But again, this is a pretty dystopian reality. We don't actually know if AI mapping is going to get to the point where it's actually going to be as good as perhaps like a half slash map or a Monstrata map. We don't really know. So, but if it does get there, we're going to have to struggle with that question, be like, okay, should we rank these maps or not? But I think if you just tag it as AI generated and just have it like that and not really rank them, that's probably a good first step. But I don't really know. I would like to know what you guys think about it, because it's pretty complicated when I was trying to think about it and trying to talk to myself and reason about it. And I was like, okay, I don't really know, because it's very weird. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about AI generated maps in OSU. I know this video is a freaking long yap, but I'm really passionate about this AI topic because I really got into AI like a while ago when I was trying to research into AI stuff, because I just think it's cool. But I just wanted to talk about that in this video. And if AI does come to mapping in OSU and actually becomes very refurbished and sophisticated, that'll be freaking crazy. Like, I think there's gonna be a huge spam of maps. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video, and I'll see y'all. Okay, I forgot to add this topic to this video here, so I'll just quickly glaze over it while I'm here because I just started to sit down to edit. But there's also another thing that I wondered about in AI mapping in OSU. So I know that people can create songs with AI. Like, these songs are actually pretty good. Like, if you hear Joe Biden singing One Piece opening or Barack Obama singing the One Piece ending, like, they're gonna be singing like amazingly, right? So what if AI songs were in OSU and become mapped like that? In my stance on that, I don't think they should be mapped, honestly. Like it to be ranked, right? For AI songs to be ranked, personally, my take on it is I don't think they should be ranked. But again, I wonder what you guys think about it, that whole situation. I just wanted to briefly say that subject right there. But yeah, that's the real end of this video. I'll see you.